78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack is a book that is being widely recommended as a book for tarot practitioners and also for beginners to tarot. And I'm going to share my opinions on that in a moment. But I'm just going to begin by speaking a bit about the book itself. So this book was first published in different sections. So it was divided into the majors, which was published in 1980s, in the year of 1980. And then a second part consisting of the minors, published in 1983. And now with this edition, which is from 97, Rachel has combined these two parts together in this whole book. And the structure of this book is that there is an introduction where Rachel is sort of speaking of a brief history on tarot and also where she's coming from, the concepts that reoccur throughout this book. And there is a part about the majors, there's a part about the minors, and there's a part about readings. Now Rachel puts a lot of emphasis on numerology and how different numbers, how the use of different numbers make cards connect with different things and other correspondences as well. And she also gives you a sort of introduction of these four beginning cards, not the four beginning cards, but the four cards of the Fool, the World, High Priestess and the Magician, and how they connect, how they build the frame, the structure for the tarot as a whole. And then we have the meanings for each card, both upright and reversed meanings. The meanings of the major arcana being perhaps 4 or 5 pages each, and the minors having perhaps 1.5 page each. So there's a very big difference there between the majors and the minors. And also Rachel has divided the majors into 3 lines, and each line is explained briefly at the beginning of each line that she is moving through in the book. So what I think of this book is that the beginning section of this book, the introduction, has its points and it has some value, but I do feel that Rachel seems to go off on tangents here and there, and she is also making a butt out of a feather a lot of times, and perhaps making connections where I don't really see any, where I don't think that there's enough proof. I feel that she's being quite a bit biased here and there, and trying to make a point to give proof that what she's saying is true, but I don't really see it. I don't really see it. So the introduction section, I think, is good and not so good. She loses me a lot of times, and I feel like she's going off on different threads in her thinking, where she definitely is not holding my hand throughout the process. I don't understand, and I become quite frustrated because I feel that this is her own inner ruminations, and it feels biased, to be honest. But when we are moving into the card meanings, this is where the book really, really shines. This is pure gold. And Rachel Pollack has a way to condense meaning, especially when we move into the minors, that are very transcendent. So she has a way to turn that which is mundane into an experience of self-exploration, of understanding your soul path, your soul evolution. So it's a bigger experience than your day-to-day life, and Rachel helps you to understand that throughout the meanings of this book. And what I've come to find is, when using her meanings of the card depictions, my readings have become much more sober. There's a sober angle from which she is dealing with the card and the card meanings, having clear thoughts. And oftentimes we are using tarot as a way to see our wishes coming true, and perhaps we are always not so keen on seeing the reality of things, or where we are being held responsible or accountable for our own actions. And I think that this book, the meanings in this book, helps you to retrieve a balance there, when you can understand why you're making certain choices, but you can see clearly. And not read so much from wishful thinking. And that has actually been a much more healing experience than what I would have thought, because now I feel like I can be clear. And there's a way for me to move out of situations where I take responsibility for my future, for my actions. So that has been very interesting. And I do think also that the section about the readings is very, very valuable. She is demonstrating the Celtic cross and also her own sort of deviation from that, and also a Tree of Life reading. And I think that that chapter is also truly, truly, truly brilliant. And she's able to break down these spreads in a way that makes sense, but also gives you a lot of meat, a lot of understanding. It gives you depth, but they are still easy to understand. And then there's a piece right at the end where she sort of discusses a bit on meditation and on the use of tarot readings and the purpose of that in our lives. And I think that's where she gets a bit distracted or something. There's something about when she allows herself more space to ruminate on things. It doesn't really suit her tutoring style, in my opinion. In my own personal opinion, I think that Rachel really shines the most when she sticks to concise and clear messaging in the book. Concise, clear, short, and to the point. That is where she really starts to shine. And when she goes off on different ruminations, that's where she is. I'm not getting that much of a value from those. It could be different for you, for sure. Now, would I recommend this book for tarot practitioners. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially for the part about the meanings of the cards and the readings, and also a bit about her concept with the magician, the fool, the world, the high priestess. There are some golden nuggets in that text, but perhaps she would be better if she condensed it a bit. But I would definitely recommend this for every tarot practitioner, and I think this is a book that every serious tarot practitioner should have in their library and study from, because her way of thinking really transcends the everyday reality, and it helps you make sense of things in a clear and a very sober way that helps you forward. Now, would I recommend this book for a beginner? Absolutely not. Unless you are a very, very deep thinker, or perhaps you are over the age of 40 or something like that, and tends to think on things in a certain way that is perhaps more deep, more reflective. You are bringing from your own wisdom and life experience, perhaps then, or perhaps if you are seeking to understand your mundane day-to-day life experience in a more soul evolution path or journey sort of way that is more spiritual. These meanings are definitely much more spiritual than your sort of usual love life reading, if that makes sense. So if you're trying to understand yourself and the world that you're surrounded with, I would definitely recommend this book. For most beginners to tarot, I would recommend another tarot book, which I have mentioned in the next video that I have for you, that I will link here, that is all about tarot for complete beginners, what I recommend for you to do. So that is it for today's review. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.